Welcome all to another webinar from the IOCO Enterprise Applications team. We will start shortly.
Are we test driving here, guys?
Welcome. Yes, we trust you're well and safe and look forward to sharing another exciting offering from the Enterprise Applications portfolio. I'm your host, EC, and I will be introducing the Opentext team led by Gary Muller. Going digital has been a topic in many companies' boardrooms, elevated by defining a path to realize the fourth industrial revolution. Our IOCO team of specialists will provide insights of how enterprise applications assist and guides our customers on this journey. Please enjoy the content. We have a chat board for Q&A, and this will be answered at the end of the presentation. You can follow us on LinkedIn or email Enterprise Applications for more information. Now over to the Opentext team, Kieran, Subin, and Gary.
Thanks, EC. Good afternoon, everyone. I would say with the outbreak of the COVID-19 pandemic, many companies were caught unaware. Suddenly, we were faced with businesses closing, business continuity coming to an end. Today, we would like to talk to you on the processes of embarking on that digital journey. For this, I would like to introduce you to Bongani. Okay, Bongani, like you and me, works in an office that's pretty much a set routine. He goes to the office, he interacts with people. Okay, he has access to all the necessary tools to enable him to perform his work, and is surrounded by his colleagues and his superiors. This is the life. This is the work life that Bongani has taken for granted. I think, as in Bongani's case, remote working is a concept that hasn't been adopted in many organizations as yet. Okay, so with the lockdown, I would say welcome to the new normal. Bongani literally has two options: be declared as an essential staff and work from the office, with the extra overhead of taking the necessary precautions and moving or working from the office, or moving his office to his house. Both these options are unrealistic, as going to the office is done at your own risk, while moving office equipment to your home is not a viable option anyway, as most of the equipment is network-based and shared with his colleagues. So taking files home is a risk to the company, as confidential data has the potential of being lost or destroyed. Bongani finds himself in an isolated and finds himself isolated and restricted to the confines of the four walls of his house, with the expectation for him to deliver the same work from home. He finds his experience challenging. He has been left on his own means with no access to printers, scanners, files, network infrastructure to aid him in performing his duties. So as grim as this sounds, don't stress. There are innovative solutions available to the marketplace in the marketplace to address these limitations. For years, I think industry has toyed with the concept of paperless office with limited success. Whilst many of the solutions have been available for a while, the lockdown has highlighted the urgency in which they had to be implemented. It also highlighted the gaps that these solutions have. However, industry was quick to find innovative means to compensate for them. So how do we go about making the necessary changes in our work environment to address these challenges that we face? Many organizations had started the journey to digital transformation, while others were caught unprepared. With the lockdown, people like Bongani were forced to work from home. Organizations had to develop a platform to collaborate and share information. And to enable this, four key areas had to be addressed. 1, compliance. 2, collaboration. 3, access to information. And finally, security, the most important of them all. Central to this digital journey is to deploy an enterprise content management system, also known as an ECM system. This can be cloud-based, on-premise, or a hybrid solution leveraging off the best of both worlds. The ECM system provides a platform for collaboration, a place where documents can be stored, shared, routed to the required routed for the required reviews and approvals, and at the same time also maintaining full audit trails. Security becomes vital in these scenarios at many levels. Okay, 1, to address the content. The first point being access to the content through a secure channel to the enterprise content management system. The user has to be restricted to see information pertaining only to his or her job function. Thirdly, enforcing concepts like digital and electronic signatures via the enterprise content management systems. So while electronic signatures is potentially an image of a signature that is imprinted into a document, these are sufficient for your internal approval processes. Like a written signature, the purpose of a digital signature is to guarantee that individuals signing the document really is who he or she claims to be. The digital signatures are embedded with PKI encryption certificates to ensure that the document is not tampered with and can be presented in a court of law if required. Digital signatures are typically used when working with documents that bind the organization into legal commitments and contracts. Your information is captured in several ways. Uploading and scanning documents into capture solutions. These solutions extract the required metadata for you based on rules that have been defined in the extraction engines. The documents are then stored in your enterprise content management system. Scanning, clients that talk to your enterprise content management system over a secure connection. In this instance, the user is expected to capture all the metadata as part of the scanning process. And then we have the user uploading documents also into the electronic document management system or enterprise document management system. The capturing of this metadata then becomes very important because this metadata aids in identifying and retrieving the documents via the search engine in the shortest possible time. Part of the strategy is to define the endpoint devices which will be used to capture information. Your endpoint devices can range from tablets, mobile devices, laptops, and desktop computers, with the system adapting the presentation based on screen sizes. I think the most critical of the 4 steps is your compliance. Obviously, storing the content on its own is not enough. There are other factors that come into play. 1, records management. It is pertinent that as part of your enterprise content management system, you need to take cognizance of the retention and disposition of the data. This is applicable to both physical and electronic documents. Your organization's policies define the timelines on how long a document type may be retained in the organization. So your guidelines to your records management, I think every organization needs to ask itself, what is the ask itself, what is the risk to the business if a document is destroyed too early or it's kept indefinitely? Okay. Secondly, your legal holds. Your enterprise content management system must allow you to place holds on documents to ensure that your documents are not disposed of or destroyed or deleted by users in the middle of an investigation or an audit. Thirdly, I think, and this is also very crucial, is if you're a South African-based company or a South African-based company with affiliations to clients in Europe, as part of your compliance, have you taken the Protection of Personal Information Act, or POPI, into consideration? Have you also looked at your General Data Protection Regulations, or GDPR, into consideration? What information governance policies have you defined to enforce these regulations? And then also ask yourself, what measures have you put in place to bring awareness to your employees on these 2 acts? These are some serious questions that must be asked. And incidentally, I'm not sure if you guys are aware, the POPI Act has come into effect from the 1st of July, and government has given companies and organizations 1 year to comply with the regulations. Any organization that is found to not comply with the POPI Act as of the 1st of July 2021 could be liable for fines of up to 10 million rands or time served. Now, obviously, the points that I've mentioned above is not the whole picture. Okay, your enterprise content management system only addresses the unstructured data. We need to interface this data to your transactional data in a way that we will bring context to your content. This enables your organizations to present one unified view, of both your structured and unstructured data. There are many areas that we need. These are some of the areas that we need to define in your enterprise information management solution strategy. The beauty of these solutions is that they all do not have to be implemented at the same time. And we, as IACO, can assist your organization in developing a roadmap, in defining your digital journey. And I think I'd like to hand over to Sabine in this regard.
Thanks, Kiran. I would like to highlight a few important key areas when it comes to document storage. The point that we would like to cover in this slide is with regards to securing your data and information. The recommendation would be to have a centralized information storage. The key to such solution is that information is centrally managed, and by keeping data in one place, it's easier to manage both the hardware and the data itself. This means closer control on data protection, version control, and security. You may have heard about the recent attack on Experian, which is a South African credit bureau company, that had reported that the company suffered a security breach in which some 24 million people's data were exposed. Lack of focus on cybersecurity can be greatly damaging to a business. There is a direct impact on the reputation and also an economic cost of such attacks to the business. Aside from the direct impacts of cybersecurity breach, there are also legal consequences to deal with in the aftermath. Failure to manage a customer's personal information in light of GDPR and POPI Act that Kiran talked about earlier could result in regulatory sanctions. This is regardless of whether the negligence originates from the management or employees of a business. This may sound daunting and appear complicated, but it's achievable if you deploy the right solutions with the right implementation partner. The key here is to make sure that the user content is stored centrally and in a secure manner. The next point we would like to highlight is the ability to work efficiently and collaborate with your coworkers, irrespective of whether they are from. With more companies adopting the work from home culture, the employees are given option to bring their own devices for work. It has become important that employees remain productive and are able to collaborate efficiently, no matter what devices they use. These devices are generally referred to as endpoint devices, and it is important that the technology enables consistent and user-friendly user interfaces. You need the applications to adopt a smart user interface that can cater for a wide variety of screen sizes and devices without compromising the user experience. This also helps the employees to work with confidence and better collaborate with their coworkers and get the job done quickly and efficiently. The key here is to make sure no matter the endpoint device the employees are using, they should be able to continue and collaborate on their work-related tasks. With most people still working remotely or from home, the concept of endpoint protection is becoming more and more relevant. Endpoint protection or endpoint security is a general term that describes cybersecurity services for network endpoints like laptops, smartphones, tablets, or even servers. These services may include antivirus, anti-malware, web filtering services, and more. These endpoint protections help companies keep their critical system, intellectual properties, the customer and employee data all safe from ransomware, phishing, malware, and other cyber attacks. All business, no matter its size, need to ensure everyone involved in the company is up to date on their latest cybersecurity threats and practices and the best methods for protecting their data. The other important aspect of having to work remotely is safeguarding your data in the form of secure backups. Since the endpoint devices are not always connected to the corporate networks, there is a need for securely backing up data remotely to a central location. This is more significant now than it has ever been, as more and more companies are allowing the workforce to work remotely, and in some cases indefinitely. The benefits of backing up employee data on an enterprise class backup and storage solution with all the safeguards in place is not to be underestimated. You also need solutions that is capable of remotely managing user devices, especially, let's say, should an employee leave an organization or their devices get stolen, the company should be able to remotely wipe the contents of those devices. You want to be in control of the data that resides on these endpoints, no matter what happens to it. It's the kind of thing that would make you feel like a data superhero, as you see on the slide. The key here is to ensure that the information that we are either sharing or consuming is fully secured. And with that, Bongani is now a happy champ, knowing that he now has a full 360-degree digital solution, and he is able to work efficiently from home and be very productive, at the same time knowing that the information is readily available when he needs it in a safe and secure manner. With that, I would like to hand it over to my colleague, Gary, to talk some of the related Opentext specific solutions. Gary, over to you.
Great, thanks, Subin. Oh, that sounded extremely daunting, but there's a silver lining to that cloud. Let me introduce you to Opentext. I think some clients might be aware of Opentext and have heard of them before. But for those who haven't, they've been in the content management and EIM space for almost 30 years. They were established in 1991 with their head offices based in Canada. But they are a global company with offices all over the world, with the local office based in Johannesburg. So there is representation in South Africa. They have strategic partnerships with Microsoft, SAP, and Oracle, creating solutions that seamlessly integrate Opentext covers quite a wide range of solutions and is divided into 6 streams. So as you can see on the screen, they've got content, process, business network, experience, analytics and discovery, and the endpoint items that we were talking about. And those sort of make up your EIM solutions that could give you insight or engagement from a user or client perspective. So on the next slide, I'd like to go into a bit more detail with regards to what we've identified as core on a digital journey. But bear in mind, it does not all need to be implemented at once, as Kieran mentioned. There are building blocks on your digital journey. So if we look at the first part there, the building blocks of a content repository, as the starting point, Opentext provides solutions that enable that base using extended ECM platform, which contains content suite. This provides you with a content repository that will enable records management, content management, collaboration, workflows, and many more facilities and functions. The extended ECM platform also allows you to integrate with your ERP and other business applications. As Subin mentioned, it's developed on HTML5, which allows you to use various devices like a tablet or a cell phone, and it automatically adjusts your screen. We're using it in a solution like SAP or Oracle. It actually makes it part of that solution, which makes it easier for your end users to learn and use the solution without much training or change management. Then we've got Archive Center, which acts as the library layer where the content is stored and is bundled with Content Suite as well as extended ECM. So it's not a separate solution that you need to purchase, but it is the library layer. The great part about Archive Center is that it can be connected to various types of storage, ranging from fast to cheaper, slower storage. So you can determine which content resides on the storage medium, giving you great flexibility. So you are able to move items that are accessed frequently onto the faster, more expensive storage, and the content that's not accessed that, or is just archived data that needs to be accessed very infrequently, can be stored on the slower storage. The next, which is also something that Kieran brought up, was intelligent caption scanning. So a large portion of clients have paper documentation, and to get benefit out of that is to take that paper-based information, digitize it, pull the information off those pages using OCR capabilities, and use the metadata, thereby giving you context to your content. These solutions can also be used to pull documents from emails or shared drives, FTP servers, and perform that same OCR functions on electronic documents and store it in the content repository. Another SAP application is employee file management, which integrates with your SAP HCM environment, which ensures that you do not store your HR-related content in your SAP database, but rather in a proper content solution. This obviously keeps your SAP database clean and fast without compromising access to the content that you need. Then if you look on moving over to the process side, there's a solution called AppWorks, which provides you with process automation. So it's a nice tool that gives you the capability of creating solutions, business processes, mobile applications. So it's a great dev app tool. Contract Center, which provides you with contract management solution, managing the full life cycle from contract generation to contract negotiation, final storage of that signed contract. Then we move to another SAP solution, which is vendor invoice management, which automates the accounts payable process. We presented this about a month ago, so if you're interested in that, please make contact with us and we can share that information with you. The next one is Business Network. Business Network is a platform that Opentext offers with over 1 trillion transactions that happen on a daily basis. This is for business-to-business platform where information is exchanged with cloud-hosted solutions like supply chain optimization, industrial Internet of Things, digital fax, and many more. And these are out-of-the-box solutions that are ready, that you as an organization can connect to and use immediately. The Opentext Experience Suite provides customer communication solutions, create electronic forms that is available online, very similar to the SARS e-filing forms that you actually use. It also provides you with the mobility or creating mobile or portal solutions from a web-based perspective. An example of an Experience Suite solution is Extreme, which allows you to generate customer communication in various means. So you can either have, it can either end up with a paper-based output, SMS, it could be an emailer. You can also individualize these statements or invoices or communication to your clients, providing them with relevant information that's for their need. So as an example, a supermarket chain can actually customize specials based on the client's buying criteria. Moving over to the Opentext Analytics, that provides you AI and analytics suites that provides a platform to manage large data sets and to make the information available for businesses to create a data lake and be able to use that information for either marketing, sales, or relevant business decisions. Lastly, we've got the Discovery Suite, which is generally used for audits, finding information that is required. So if we use Poppy as an example, which I think is critical for most organizations today with that act coming into play, being able to search within your repositories on what client or vendor information you could have. This informs businesses as to where this information needs to be secured or destroyed if required. There's also an item like legal holds, and this is something that Kieran mentioned, that allows the company to put specific hold on content that cannot be amended or deleted while there's an ongoing investigation of audit. And that all forms part of your discovery pack. The last items I'd like to discuss is the endpoint backup and security that Subin actually went over. We find ourselves working from home where we're no longer in a corporate network. We're not attached to a server, where our content is backed up and secured, and these solutions ensure that your mobile devices, like a cell phone or tablet, but it could also be a laptop or desktop that's used at home for work-related tasks, can now easily be backed up to ensure that the corporate information is safe, but also secured against malware and viruses. As you can see, Opentext provides a large suite of solutions that can provide a business with an end-to-end ECM or EIM platform. As mentioned, EIM is a journey, and the IOCO team would like to become your trusted advisor to assist you along this digital journey. Thank you very much. EC, I can hand over to you for our Q&A session.
Great. Thanks, Opentext team. Yeah, it was very enlightening listening to the content provided. I can see this is world-class solutions and cutting edge. But I have a few questions that's coming through. In terms of the solution, is it cloud-based or what type of architecture does this allow? Kieran, can you share some light in terms of this?
Okay, so our solutions are either cloud-based, on-premise, or we can even do a hybrid solution leveraging best of both worlds.
Okay, so we analyze the customer requirements and then provide the guidelines in terms of what meets their specific requirements.
That's correct.
100%. And in terms of what public cloud platforms are supported, Subin?
Sure. Opentext have packaged most of their solutions into cloud editions that basically can run anywhere. It's based on proven solutions that can run in customers' own data centers or in the cloud of their choice. So that could be Amazon Web Services, Microsoft Azure, and Google Cloud Platform, or even on the Opentext own cloud platform, which they have built in partnership with Google Cloud. Hope that answers your question.
Great. And then Kieran, in terms of the applications out of the box, I know we spoke a lot about SAP, but are there out-of-box solutions for almost the major ERPs available?
Okay, so we've got out-of-the-box connectors for various platforms, SAP being one of them. So we support connectors into ECC6, S4HANA, vendor invoice management or VIM, your CRM, ERP solutions, and then also SuccessFactors, Salesforce, On the Microsoft side, we support extended ECM for Office 365, which is integration or connecting your SharePoint environments through to SAP via the Opentext suite. And then also we have connectors to the SharePoint environments. On the Oracle front, we have connectors for the Oracle Business Suite.
Okay, great. Kieran, just to confirm, we do integrate to SharePoint and SAP seamlessly.
Correct.
Okay, 100%. And Kieran, as a client who has not started their digital journey, what would be the process? How would we follow that process on a digital journey?
Okay, so in light of the POPI Act that is coming into force, I think your first step would be to do an e-discovery. Use your discovery as your starting point. Look, take stock of the information that you have in place and look at what measures you've got in place to comply with the POPI requirements. I think that would be key to starting your journey. And look at all the gaps that you've got, and your electronic or digital journey should start filling those gaps and building those rules with the solutions that we provide.
Okay, and just to confirm, the Opentext teams will guide customers and provide a roadmap in terms of doing this with them, if required. So
yes.
100%. Okay. And so Ben, in terms of physical objects like paper, videotapes, disk, and other media, how does Opentext manage this?
Sure. Good question. Many organizations still actually use quite a lot of physical records, right? Managing electronic and physical records separately can often lead to higher costs and leads to policies that are inconsistent and time-consuming. The records management capabilities of Opentext Content Suite actually allows companies to manage the full lifecycle of physical records alongside electronic records in a centralized system. And many types of physical objects can be managed. So it could be paper files, folders, videotapes, disks, you name it. And if there are not physical objects available on the system actually allows you to create custom ones, and you can still manage them. Additionally, there's also dashboard reporting that gives you summary of all the physical items that's available by their quantity and type. And you can even drill down further to see the facilities that stores those physical objects, so you can easily track them. There's also features where you can borrow physical items, you can monitor them, and you can even use checks and balances such as approvals for receipt acknowledgements, maybe for flagging and even picking up the physical objects. And the records managers of organization can actually track when and where items have been sent, whether it's in transit or whether it has been received at the warehouse. And lastly, I think you can also use barcoded labels that you could generate based on those physical objects. So it makes your storage and packaging of physical objects much easier, even allows you to enable your transferring and tracking much more efficiently. Yeah, hope that answers your question.
Great. And in terms of managing the life cycle of the electronic and physical documents, how do we manage that, Subin?
Okay, so the records management module that comes with Opentext Content Suite, you can define what's called as life cycles, which you can then apply to the content. So it could be both electronic and physical. And once the records are due for, let's say, disposition or disposal, the owners or the records managers can be notified so that the disposition of these records can be actioned. It could be either manual or automated. So yeah, full life cycle can be managed for both physical and electronic using records management module.
Excellent. I see Opentext covers the complete end-to-end life cycle. Thanks, Subin.
Sure.
And Kiran, how would you manage the process of documents approval while working remotely?
Okay, so fortunately, the content or the enterprise content management system provided by Opentext is actually web-based. Now, when you have workflows running in your system on the system, when task gets assigned to you, the system can be configured to send out notifications to the end user. And this user can actually access the system either through their desktop or even through their mobile devices. So on the desktop, access is granted through the web browser, and then the user can perform the required approvals. Through the mobile devices and your tablets, we have an app that's available that would allow you to process the required approvals.
Great. And another question, in terms of the Opentext experience, I see Gary mentioned HTML5 technologies and so forth, but can you elaborate how is that Opentext experience? What would customers look and feel be like?
Yeah, so thanks, Easy. Sorry, so on the experience suite specifically, so I think on that there are various modules, but on the SAP side specifically, there's something called document presentment that uses Extreme in the background, and that's for generation of customer communication, as I mentioned, as part of the solutions. But you are 100% correct. So from and that's the stream. It's called Opentext Experience. But from a user experience, there's a smart UI that's very similar to widgets in the Content Suite environment. That is HTML5 based. So depending on which screen size you're on, it obviously resizes everything. So you are still able to access your content or approve those workflows, open or store documents from a mobile device. So it is fully adjustable based on the size of the screen that you actually work on.
100%. So it's intuitive enough to understand the screen resolution, allows the customer to be on the go or behind the desktop. So it's flexible in terms of providing a solution based on the different Opentext modules.
Correct, 100%. Yeah. The other nice part, as we mentioned as well, I think as part of the Oracle or SAP modules that integrates, is that it's a familiar interface that the user uses. So if they're using, for instance, ECC, they actually see the Opentext component inside of ECC. So they don't need to go to a separate system or another system. They actually, once they're in a transaction, there's a section where they can actually see the documents or access the documents directly from that application. So again, as I mentioned, I think it's less training, it's less change management, and it's easier for the users to pick up when integrating with an Opentext solution. Some of the Opentext solutions, you don't even know that you are using an Opentext solution. It is so tightly integrated.
Excellent. Thanks, Gary. And thanks to the Opentext team. We really appreciate the content provided. I think everybody's looking at enhancing their digital journey, and I believe Opentext and the IOCO enterprise applications teams have an excellent product that one can share. If you'd like more information, please reach out to Enterprise Applications, and if you'd like to follow us for future webinars, please follow us on LinkedIn. We'll update every webinar we have. We follow once a week on the latest contents available from Enterprise Applications. Thanks for sharing the time with us, and we look forward to you joining future sessions with us. Thanks, everybody.